Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Celtic Warband here, and welcome back to the world of Rome 2 Total War. Today I have a 1v1 subscribers battle replay submitted by Max Laser, and it's been quite some time since we've seen Max Laser and his great battles on our channel, so I'm happy to bring one back for you guys. So I hope you do enjoy, and without further ado, let's take a look at the army comps. The first army on the battlefield today is the Odrysian Kingdom, commanded by Max Laser, and he's got quite a few mercenary units mixed in with his regular soldiers, and I think that is because the Odrysian Kingdom really doesn't have many good spears to hold the line. So with that in mind, he's brought 2 units of the mercenary veteran hoplites, one on either flank, and in the center he has 3 units of regular mercenary hoplites. For his ranged units, he's got 2 units of Thracian peltis. They're really good for their armor-piercing damage, so they can tear down enemy pikes and shielded infantry. For his main meat of his army, he has 6 units of the Thracian warriors, but on either flank he also has a unit of mercenary folksmen, so 1 on either flank totaling 2. He's got a couple more Thracian warriors back here, but he's also got a unit of Thracian nobles, along with his general, which is also a Thracian noble unit. So pretty powerful infantry held in reserve. And for his cavalry, he's gone with 3 units of Thracian cavalry, which are light missile cavalry. So very fast, but he'll have to kind of keep them out of melee, because if they go toe-to-toe with some heavy shock cavalry, they will most certainly lose. But that is it for the Odrysian Kingdom's army comp, so let's go ahead and take a look at his enemy. The opposing army on the battlefield today is Tylis, commanded by the general, and starting with his army comp on the very far left-hand side, he has 3 units of Levy Freemen, which are a very cheap spear unit, which are backing up his noble horse, so really good call to mix in some spears with his horsemen, so he'll be able to get a good charge off onto the enemy infantry, and then be able to follow it up with spears to keep his cavalry alive. Also, this is kind of a cavalry but counter-cavalry tactic, so you'll see a lot of players will have their noble horse unit, which will engage with enemy cavalry, but the spears will be close behind to ensure that he has a victory on the flanks. It's very, very effective. Looking at his main body of infantry, on either side of his main body, he has 2 units of the tribal warriors, so 1 on either side, and also 1 on either side of the Oathsworn, which I believe 1 is his general. Yeah, he's got his general as the Oathsworn unit. His meat of the army in the center, just like Max Laser, is Thracian warriors. He has 3 units of them, and followed closely behind by 3 units of Gallo Thracian infantry. And way over here, he has 1 unit of the Thracian peltis. They are mercenaries, and his other wing has 2 units of light horse and 2 units of Levy Freemen. So a little bit more cavalry, but a little less spears on this flank. But that is everything for the general's force, so let's go ahead and get to this battle. Alright guys, welcome to the battlefield, and as you can see, we have the Odrysian Kingdom pulling very hard to the left-hand side, so it looks like Max Laser is going to try and get away from one of the flanks of cavalry and spears, and mainly focus on this left-hand side. You can see that he's already moving his Thracian cavalry around to start skirmishing down the Levy Freemen. I think that's a pretty good idea, although I maybe would try and focus down the Noble Horse. That's a very powerful unit of cavalry, and if they can get skirmished down from afar, that's really going to help Max Laser on the flanks. You can see that the balance of power is quite against him at this point. I think that might just be due to the fact that he has weaker cavalry, and also these Oathsworn units do pack quite a punch. The 2 units of Thracian nobles will be pretty solid. You can see he has them in the 3rd line, but I think with the overwhelming numbers on the flanks, Max Laser is going to have to be very careful here not to get encircled. And I think that we do have the mercenary units just about engaging with the Thracian warriors. Now, the Thracian warriors having a really good charge bonus here, and it looks like they are going to be cut off by the hoplites. We've also got more of the Thracian warriors moving in against the mercenary veteran hoplites over on this flank. We've also, I believe, got one of the units of tribal warriors here as well. We've got 1 unit. Oh, apologies. This is just the mercenary hoplite unit. The veteran hoplites are hopefully going to be able to soak up this charge from the noble horse. Actually, it wasn't even targeted to charge through, so that's a huge mistake there for the general. He'll actually lose a few cavalry units there for absolutely no reason. But they are going after the mercenary folksmen here, which are unprepared for this cavalry charge. However, you do see that we have the Thracian cavalry engaged against the Levy Freemen. Not sure if that's a good idea. The Levy Freemen are a pretty garbage unit, but they're really going to excel in taking down the Thracian cavalry. Here you can see that Max Laser's army is breaking, at least the front line is. He has to send in his second wave of Thracian warriors to keep them from breaking too quickly. And over on this flank, it is quite overwhelming odds for the general, although he has a lot of infantry that's kind of sitting here doing nothing. He needs to engage all of his units in full force, because all he's doing is enabling Max Laser to wrap up the left flank more quickly. There we go. Yes, the Noble Horse trying to pursue the Thracian cavalry, but getting cut down very quickly. Over here as well, it looks like the Thracian cavalry just won against the Levy Freemen, but I don't know if that was a very good trade-off, if I'm honest, because the Thracian cavalry can still be useful for getting rear charges. Over here, I think that the mercenary Falksmen are ready to charge into the flank of the Levy Freemen here. Surely that will shatter them. Let's actually take a look at this in slow motion. Well done to the general, though. Good battlefield awareness, turning his one unit of Levy Freemen around to make sure that the second unit doesn't take the penalty to its morale from being outflanked. But there we go. Yes, a lot of the Levy Freemen falling to the charge bonus from the mercenary Falksmen. And we do have some of the Thracian nobles, I believe this is. No, Thracian warriors. They are moving forwards over here. And it looks like that second line of infantry is enabling Max Laser to kind of hold in the center, which is good. However, his right flank will break eventually. It's just a matter of when. He's got one unit here of Thracian warriors that are steadily losing. They're only fighting Levy Freemen on the front, but they are being flanked by some Gallic or Gallo-Thracian infantry. Over here as well, the mercenary veteran hoplites, although they are holding, they are flanked by some tribal warriors. We've got Levy Freemen and Gallo-Thracian infantry surrounding them. You can see that they are being cut down, and I think that is them breaking there. But I think that this unit and the other unit of Thracian warriors here have bought Max Laser enough time to hold them back for him to wrap up the rest of the general's forces in the center and on the left. And look at this. This is where the Thracian cavalry becomes so useful, firing their javelins into the Oathsworn's back. Now, 1v1, they will destroy the Thracian nobles, there's no doubt about that, but with them being peppered down from behind by the javelins, this will definitely be in favor of Max Laser. Not to mention, if the general loses his general here, it probably will allow him to win the actual battle. And yes, there we go, it looks like they are breaking a little bit of friendly fire there, though. He's going to have to be careful with that. But surely that is it broken. Yeah, the general has shattered. They are gone from the battlefield. We've got some more Gallo-Thracian infantry pushing in here, but they are wavering to the might of the Thracian nobles. We've got some more Gallo-Thracian infantry coming in as well. Good on Max Laser with the Thracian cavalry, silencing the mercenary Thracian Peltis. And now the balance of power still against Max Laser just a bit, although I don't know exactly how, because I think he actually has more men now. There we go, some more charges from the hoplites. And also half of the unit charging over here as well to deal with the Gallo-Thracian infantry. We've got some of the Thracian warriors charging in as well to add bodies to the front line. There we go, another unit charging in over here. And surely this should be a victory for Max Laser. Yeah, balance of power almost half now. Half and half. We've got the Thracian nobles running down the Levy Freemen, although I'd say don't even bother with that. Just focus on the center. Tribal warriors managed to break the mercenary Falksmen after that charge. And the mercenary hoplites are shaken. They're not looking too good, down to 34 men. Thracian warriors down to 41. The mercenary veteran hoplites don't look like they're engaged at all, so if he could push them into the side of the Gallo-Thracian infantry, I think that would be best for him. But yeah, such a quick battle here, these 1v1s. Here we go, a nice charge too into these Tylis infantry units that were just standing here. They're probably in shock on the battlefield. Nice charges there, and here we go. Looks like we've got the Levy Freemen actually pursuing the Thracian noble unit now. Very funny indeed, but I think the balance of power should be in Max Laser's favor now. Yes, he's done an excellent job there. Tribal warriors down to 42 men. We do have a unit of Thracian infantry, 73, which are in the center. Another charge from the Thracian cavalry should see them off, I would imagine. They are already wavering. There we go. Huge hits there. Nicely done. The Thracian cavalry is always a risk, right? Because they aren't going to win you the cavalry engagement on the flanks by traditional charging in. So he has to use unconventional methods to ensure that that cavalry is a viable option. And what I mean by that is, let's say that Max Laser with the Thracian cavalry, he charged them into the noble horse, and the noble horse won. That immediately opens up Max Laser's flanks for complete surround. So it's always a risk to bring ranged cavalry, or in this case, javelin cavalry. Yes, they do a lot of damage to enemy cavalry. Yes, they're faster and they can get away from the enemy cavalry, but they're not going to secure your flanks as much as you can. So only really confident players you see in 1v1s especially will bring ranged cavalry, and I think Max Laser performed very, very well in that regard. Let's go ahead and take a look at the results here. So you can see they fielded just about the same amount of men. The general had 30 more men to his army than Max Laser did. And yeah, look at the kills here. On the Thracians, they always have such high kills. It's pretty incredible. Thracian nobles here, 178 and 101. The mercenary falseman here, 109. That's pretty solid. His mainline infantry, 156, 124, 140. That is pretty good. And I think this mercenary veteran hoplite, this was not the one that was holding on the other flank. That was this one. So they were kind of the MVPs for the battle. I think if they broke a lot more quickly, Max Laser would have had a huge problem on his hands. But thankfully, this one and one of the Thracian warrior units was able to hold back, I'd say, 60% of the general's forces, and just allow him to wrap up on the left-hand flank first before securing the right-hand flank. Yeah, looking at the cavalry here, 108 and 101, 85. That's really solid kills for javelin cavalry. Taking a look at the general's force, 53 with the Oathsworn. That's quite low, though, because if you remember from the battle, they were being javelin from behind, so they probably could have easily gotten 100 to 150 kills if just left to their own devices. Yeah, the cavalry did not really work in the general's favor. The light horse dying very quickly. The noble horse did a little bit better, but they should get more kills for the amount of money they cost. I believe they cost 1,300, so they're not cheap cavalry. However, his Thracian infantry doing pretty solid, 100 and 144 there. And his other Oathsworn unit, 156, and good solid kills on his tribal warriors as well. And that is it, a nice quick battle for you guys. So hopefully you enjoyed seeing the return of Rome 2 battles. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this in the future. And as always, I will see you in the next one.